when we had this crazy cold spell at the beginning of the year, remember, right around January 1st and 2nd, it was crazy cold throughout the Midwest, and then the East Coast got hit by the cold. You know, everybody was saying, well, not everybody, but the left was saying that this is due to climate change. You know, global warming makes everything cold. And I noticed that people were heating their homes, though. You know, it was cold in Chicago. It was cold in New Jersey. It was cold in Ohio. And they were heating their homes. And what were they heating their homes with? Well, mostly petroleum, basically, or fossil fuels. I mean, coal powers the electrical plants that run the electric heat systems. A lot of people are on electric heat, which has a huge ecological footprint. And then other people are heating with fossil fuels or heating oil or boiler systems if they're in a big building or such things. And it's all fossil fuel based anyway. Sometimes it's natural gas, but that's also a fossil fuel. So almost everybody's heating their homes and apartments with fossil fuels or some, close derivative of fossil fuels. And yet they're saying that it's fossil fuels that's causing global warming, which is causing cold weather, they say. And I'm just thinking to myself, well, wait a minute. Why are you heating your home if you say that heating is causing the cold weather through global warming / climate change? Shouldn't you not be heating your home? Why aren't you sitting in a home that is, minus 15 degrees if you're in Chicago, let's say, because I think it got that cold up there. Why aren't you sitting in a minus 15 degree home in order to stop climate change, as you say, that's caused by people using fossil fuels because you're burning fossil fuels to heat your home? And I didn't hear any story of anybody that's just sitting in the totally freezing, unheated home because they wanted to save the planet. Which reminds me that people also, they talk about being green and they talk about climate change, but they're driving cars everywhere. Like Los Angeles, people spend 2 or 3 hours a day in their car. Easy. Many people do. That's probably an average. Just to get across town takes an hour and a half. And these are the people who are concerned about global warming. Well, you're burning the fossil fuel. Now, these are the people who are attacking the pipelines, saying, oh, we shouldn't have pipelines, shouldn't have any fuel in pipes anywhere across the country because that's bad for the environment. Well, where are you going to get your gas without a pipeline? I mean, seriously. And if it's not in the pipeline, it's going to be in a truck, I guess, which is kind of a segmented pipeline on wheels. So it's still in a pipeline. It's just a smaller pipeline with a lot less efficiency because now it's on wheels and it's on the highway and it has a human driver and all that stuff. Actual pipelines have better efficiency of delivering fuel than trucks do, in case you're curious about that. But I'm always asking myself, everybody who says they're green or they're concerned about climate change or they're concerned about global warming, what are you doing in your life to solve this problem? Because for all these people, they're driving cars, they're flying in airplanes, they're heating their homes. I don't see people living in mud huts that they made themselves out of earth, living without electricity, not driving a car. I mean, maybe there are a few people like that out there, and if they are, you got to give them some respect. These off-grid people, maybe you don't hear about them because they're not on the internet. They're not on Facebook. They're probably the wisest people of all, frankly. Get away from the internet, But you don't hear very many stories about these kind of people. Mostly, the climate change people and the global warming people are all online. They're burning electricity. Some of them are mining Bitcoin, which uses massive amounts of electricity, by the way, total waste of electricity for no actual logical reason, frankly, just to create a fake cryptocurrency, a virtual coin backed by nothing that will probably be worth nothing at some point. They're burning electricity on that. And they're heating their homes, which is a big no-no. You shouldn't heat your home if you care about global warming, because now you're contributing to the problem, you see. But I just find a lot of inconsistencies. That's all I'm saying. I mean, for me, I drive a car. I have a car, I burn the gas. I'm not, if I had an electric car, would I drive an electric car? Yeah, sure, I'd take that option. No problem. But there isn't an electric car that is the kind of car that I need. Because I live on a ranch, I got to haul bags of grain around. I don't have a little tiny car. Half my driveway is mud during some parts of the year. You can't get a Prius through that. I got to have a real car, a gasoline engine or a diesel engine. I got a tractor. I got a John Deere tractor, runs on diesel. I've shown you that in some videos. Runs on diesel. It doesn't run on batteries. There is no tractor that runs on batteries. Why is that? Well, because batteries don't have enough power storage. And so I understand I'm using fuel to live. Now, I try to be conscious about it. I try to be efficient with it. I grow some of my own food, for example. I've got a solar panel farm on one of my offices in Arizona because there's sunlight there all year round, practically. So I set up a solar farm there. I use solar power. We got rainwater collection on one of our buildings in one of our offices. We do things to try to be, sustainable. But I also realize sometimes I got to burn some gasoline. Sometimes I got to burn some diesel. But I'm consistent about it. I hear these climate conscious vegans sometimes, juicing their carrots in January and February while they're living in Minnesota or somewhere, and they think they're green. You're not green. Where do you think those carrots came from, bro? Those carrots came from a couple thousand miles away. You think you're green? You think your veganism is earth friendly? No, you got a couple thousand road miles on those carrots. You're juicing. You're juicing like a massive fossil fuel footprint in your juice. You'd be better off to grow some sprouts on your own kitchen sink. Juice your sprouts. That would be more ecologically sound. So you see, I'm all about consistency. Frankly, I don't care so much what your philosophy is. Just have it consistent. Just think it through. Don't be a walking contradiction. The people walking around, oh, I'm all green, I'm environmentally friendly. No, you're not. You're heating your home, you're driving your car, you're juicing your carrots in the middle of the winter. There are no carrots growing around. Have you noticed? Look around. Do you see carrots growing on farms near your house? No, because it's freaking January. That's winter in the northern hemisphere. Nobody's growing carrots. Unless you're living in Australia or New Zealand, well then January is fine for carrots. I mean, it's summer. You just be consistent is all I'm saying. And these people driving around electric cars. Oh, my cars have zero emissions. Where do you think the power came from for your car? Where do you think the power came from? I just plug it in. I just plug it in. It just comes through the power. Just zero emissions. Zero. But no, there are emissions, just not here. Where do you think the power came from? I don't know. It's just power. It's just green power. Comes from a wind farm. Probably not. Probably your power comes from a coal-fired power plant because that's most of the power. And there's some natural gas power plants in America. There's some hydroelectric. There's a little bit of wind. There's a little bit of solar. But this is not like Germany, man, which has a lot of solar. This is America. It's a fossil fuel country. Your electric car is fueled by coal, probably. So you're driving a coal-powered car, and you think you have zero emissions. You don't have zero emissions. You have zero intelligence, perhaps, but not zero emissions. You are emitting coal as you drive your car. It's just that the emissions are somewhere else. Well, not as you drive, but as you charge your car. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. Just think through this stuff, folks. That's all I'm saying. Just think through it. Where does all your stuff come from? Where does your power come from? Where does your food come from? Where does the heat come from? do the math. Just think up the supply chain. You're not as green as you think. Where do your genes come from? Oh, genetically modified cotton. You're wearing GMO jeans, buddy. That's not green. That's not sustainable. You're wearing glyphosate-saturated, pesticide-saturated cotton. Unless you're wearing hemp, which I got to respect. If you're wearing hemp, that's different. That is sustainable. That is usually not grown with pesticides. I respect people who wear hemp. But most people don't wear hemp. They're wearing cotton, genetically modified cotton. And they're eating their vegetarian food with genetically modified canola oil. And they think they're all healthy. Really? You're not healthy. Your vegan cheese is made with milk protein, by the way, from cows. The ingredient is called casein. It's in all the vegan cheese that I've seen anyway at the grocery store. Just take a look. Go get your vegan cheese, read the label. It says casein. Oh, what do you know? What do you know? A bunch of cows made your vegan cheese. You're not as green as you think. You're not as vegan as you think. You're not as environmentally friendly as you think. Because so much of that stuff, that environmentalism, is just skin deep, shallow. Shallow. It's just something people do because it's trendy. Not that they actually live it. They don't really think through it. Because they're fakers. Fake greenies and fake vegans. That's who's running around these days trying to do all this virtue signaling about how green and conscious they are. Fake greenies and fake vegans. There's a lot of that going around these days. It's kind of hilarious if you think about it. I openly admit to you, I try to be economically intelligent, but also drive it. I got a tractor that burns diesel. Yep, and I'm proud of it. I'm happy with it, and it's EMP proof, by the way, and it can grow food. It can help you grow food. So, just some stuff to think about, folks. I'm not against being an environmentalist, not at all. I think it's awesome. And I'm not against being a vegan. I think that's awesome too. I promoted veganism for a long time. I'm just saying, be consistent. Think through what you're doing. Think through your stuff. That's all I'm saying. So, thank you for listening. I hope that maybe this will get you asking some questions. And I'm not actually angry. I'm just passionate about my podcast here. I'm actually having a great day. I'm having a good time recording this. Not angry at all. Just kind of animated. That's all. So anyway, I hope you have a great day. Think through all this stuff. Be real. Be authentic. That's all I'm saying. Mike Adams here, the Health Ranger for naturalnews.com. Thank you for listening.
Learn more at healthrangerreport.com.
Thank you for watching. If you want to support our mission, visit us at healthrangerstore.com for the world's largest selection of lab-verified superfood and nutritional products for healthy living. It's at healthrangerstore.com.